Well, we're back at it working on this customer's X3. This is a, take a look behind me on the lift, 2021 X3 RR XRC. Previous video you guys saw, we did some maintenance, some wheel bearings, put the clutch back together. Customer was having some issues with it, you know, low speed drivability, bucking, jerking. Put a clutch kit in it from KWI, new belt, got that thing all dialed in. And now we're moving on to upgrading some suspension components on this thing. So let's take a look at what the customer has on the front end right now. We'll talk about why we're going to be doing what we're doing. So you can see there's already some aftermarket components on the front end of this thing, aftermarket A-arms, tie rods. Differential's also blown in this. We're going to be putting a front diff in this thing. So while we have that apart, talking with the customer, I suggested putting a gusset kit and shock tower support in this thing. And you might ask, you know, why would you do that? Well, from experience, the arms from the factory are fairly weak on an X3, so he went ahead and upgraded his. But there is no gusset kit in the front end of this. And looking at, well, a factory Can-Am X3 front end, you can see there's no real double shear points. So this is the upper control arm mount on the front, or on the rear, I should say. That's the front one. You know, there's the bulkhead in the front that kind of helps tie that in, but it's overall not super strong. And then back here on the lower arms, you can see there's just bolts coming through the frame and a couple thin metal tabs to keep it bolted in. So when you change the arms, you kind of move the failure point in forward, which would be the frame, which is, you know, not a part you really want to have to change or have bend, fail, break, any kind of that stuff. So fortunately, our friend CA Technologies, they've got a extremely nice bulkhead gusset kit and shock tower support. So the gusset kit consists of a few different plates. So this plate right here is for the upper control arms on the rear portion. So this part goes against the existing plate on the frame, and then you have your A-arms here, and then this will sandwich in the arms, and then we put bolts in up here that go to existing holes in the frame. So those aren't actually utilized. These bolt holes aren't utilized from the factory, but they're already there, so no drilling is required. Just bolts right in. And this will be going in the very front. This will kind of sandwich in between the bulkhead and the frame. You can kind of get an idea on where that's going to go. This piece right here is for the lower arms on the rear. Replaces the two kind of chintzy factory pieces. And then the shock tower support, I think this is one of the most important pieces, because from the factory, I mean, you can see that the shocks are only utilizing kind of a chintzy plate up front there that holds in the radiator fan shroud. So this piece will go in there like that. It'll triangulate everything, and this also integrates with those two holes into the bulkhead gusset kit. So very nice piece. All their stuff ties in really well. And then you get this very nice shock tower plate for the top. All this stuff matches the factory colors. Not a ton of places out there are offering that, so it's going to look really clean in there. And yeah, it's going to really strengthen up the front end of this thing. When doing pretty much anything extensive on the front end of one of these X3s, going to want to pull the front clip off of it. Very easy to do. Looks a lot more intimidating than it actually is, but there's essentially just, I would say, 10-ish bolts that hold this whole front clip on that you have to remove. Very simple. We'll get to that right now. I'll just show you them. Maybe you can see, maybe you can't. So if you look in here, this is the gas cap door. Move that mirror out of the way. We got one right there. Oh, up in here, one right there. This guy, these two mirrored on the other side, except this one's not behind the gas cap door because there's no gas cap door. Pop the hood off real quick here. Zoom out for you guys. I pop these two out, that, and underneath here, we've got one, you can't really see, but it's on the other side of this adjuster for the headlight. You take that out, unplug the headlights, and that's about it. So we'll do that right now, and we'll get a better look at the suspension. After that, the bulkhead's ready to come off, and then we can well, start taking stuff for the arms off. Shocks are gonna come out, obviously. I might do that now as well. I'm gonna get to that and it should go pretty smooth. I do a ton of these kits. People love them. They're very functional. They look good. What's not to like? All right, front end came off super easy. Next step, I'm gonna pop the shocks off. 18 millimeter bolt and nut, one on each side for each shock. I'll take these two 10s off right here for the fan shroud. Get this flimsy piece out of the way, gone. Down here, we've got two 10s that hold the radiator to this well, front bumper bulkhead deal. We'll get those out of the way. We'll disconnect the winch wiring. This is, looks like that's that 10 on each one of the terminals there. And then the radiator will be loose so we can get to the two 18s on the top. And then we should just be able to pop these T30s off, and then this whole front piece will come off here, I think. And then we'll be able to get to the 18s on the bottom. Get this bulkhead out of the way, and then we can start taking stuff off for the arms. So everything is 18 millimeter for the arms. Yeah, you know, it's like cars. There's pretty much standard sizes for everything on this machine. So we're in good shape. Once I have all the arms out of the way, then we'll pop that front diff out. It should be pretty easy with all the clearance we have from doing this. So that works out pretty well. So actually, I think I'm gonna go grab something to eat, and then I'll get back to working on this. I like that plan. All right, arms are off. Those came off smoothly. Front differential all unplugged, axles out. Got the 4 15 millimeter bolts from underneath removed. Drive shaft, that's off. So with this is an aftermarket front drive shaft. It's held onto the pinion by 4 set screws. One of them stripped out and won't back out. So we're gonna have to drill that out and get a replacement for that before we put it back together. But for now, this is ready to come out. I don't know if I'll be able to, probably not going to be a one-handed deal, but with everything out of the way, it shouldn't be too much to slide it out of there. I don't know if I'm going to have to take any of these actuators or sensors off, but I'll let you know how it comes out once I'm done. Boom, no big deal. Ended up coming right out the driver's side, flipped over on its side, didn't take the actuator off. Just going to swap that over to this one. And then we'll be ready to go back in, but probably going to address that drive shaft issue first and get that set screw drilled out and see if I can source a new one locally. Wish me luck. You know, every now and then when you're working on stuff, you run into the situation where you have to get out the worst piece of equipment, in my opinion. Tap and die set. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. So tried getting that one screw the one set screw that wouldn't come out of the drive shaft out. Ended up just drilling it out, retapping it, and bought some new set screws. So we're gonna put 4 new set screws in this and just not have to worry about any problems with it. Ain't worth monkeying around at this point. So that's in good shape. I'm about to throw that new diff in there right now. And yeah, I broke off one of my extractors in this. That was unfortunate, but was able to pound it out from the other side. So new set screws. This thing should be good to go. Shouldn't have any issues with it going forward. So get the new diff in, and then this thing can start going back together. Excited about that. All right, new front differentials all in, tightened down, drive shaft hook up. Now we're ready to put the arms in. So you're gonna want a hand with this. because essentially the lowers have to go in at the same time on both sides. So the right and the left have to go in at the same time, just based on how the gusset kit works. So here's our little plate here. So this is going to slide up in here like that, and essentially that has to go in with the arms, both sides. So it's yeah, I mean, maybe you could do it if you were have like 4 arms, you could do it yourself, but I just don't see it being super easy by yourself. So get a friend, have them help you out. I mean, the uppers are pretty much the same thing with how they integrate. We can put this plate in right now. This is gonna go, oh geez, trying to do this with one hand. I'll go like that. I'll take a step over to the other side here. Easy, easy. He's bottom out on the steering rack that he's got. So that plate goes like that. Like I said, we're going to utilize these 2 factory bolt holes up here with the provided hardware in the kit. I'll loosely install that right now. I'll get one of my guys to give me a little hand here. We'll do a little time lapse this thing going back together. How's that? Oh, you like that? Okay, cool. All right, so we've got the majority of the front suspension back together on this thing. You can see we got the shocks installed with fresh GForce Racing Technologies springs, best in the business. You can kind of take a look in here and see how the gusset kit integrates into the frame. So that piece for the rear upper control arms. Down here, small tab, or small plate I should say, for the rear lower arms. This bulkhead piece up here, very nice bolt together piece. The shock tower support, which kind of triangulates everything down to the frame and ties in with the bulkhead piece. So that all turned out super nice, went together very easy. I'm still waiting on the circlips for the wheel bearings or the knuckles, and then also the lower ball joint bolts and nuts. So the front clip is ready to go back on. Yeah, that's basically where we're at. This thing's almost done. Still need to put springs on the rear. That's no big deal. But this machine is pretty much ready to go for the owner. So very happy with how this thing turned out. Everything went together super smooth, minus those couple pieces we're waiting on. But besides that, pretty much good to go. So for the rest of this month, June, I'm running a deal on my website, rrutvshop.com. Anything you buy on there gets you entered into a chance to get it installed for free. So whether it's a belt, suspension kit from CA Technologies, any of the power adder stuff from Whelen Speed, and even stuff that I don't have on my website. If you need something that I don't have, just shoot me an email. Contact information's on the website, and I can get you set up for that. So could be really good. Like I said, this guy drove from Illinois to have me work on 3 of his machines now. So very appreciative of that. And hey, get yourself some stuff installed for free. Time's money. It's a good deal. So appreciate your guys' support in this matter. I'll be back in a couple days. Got a lot of cool things coming up. Going drag racing this weekend. Got a burnout vehicle we're going to be working on. And also a project that's been sitting for 17 years that will be seeing the water hopefully very soon. So stick around for that stuff. Have a good night.